Hello, my name is Sherine Vassel and I am one of the aesthetic practitioners for MySkin UK, West Norwood. At MySkin UK, we had made countless adaptations in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The changes included us taking our business into a new virtual world, a new online space that we didn't know existed. We studied our patients and we looked for signs in the various different types of valuable communication that we could use to translate the messages of taking an inbuilt inside clinic to the outside virtual world. We looked at different ways in how we could reach out to our clients whilst using our existing technology and building upon new technology. We utilised everything that didn't cost money. So our first lockdown involved checking in on our vulnerable patients. It was hard, but we wanted to make sure that they were being looked after. We started to also look into our patients that hadn't been in to see us for a long time. So our first and foremost point of call was a duty of care to our patients to see that they were settling in and adapting okay in response to the pandemic. Some of our patients have difficulty in receiving things like basic essentials, shopping from supermarkets and things like that. So we actually teamed together to put together little food parcels so that we could go and visit our patients and check that they were okay, as many of their closest relatives were living far and abroad in places like Brighton and Manchester and Scotland, and so we knew that they would really count on us to check in with them and see that they were okay. It was very difficult being a hands-on business, so we looked towards what could we offer outside of the treatment room. We looked at our inventory and we found that we had many products that patients really enjoyed using. It actually meant that we had ideas to start creating and putting more energy into products that we had already started creating but decided to build upon the range. To cheer our patients up and to make it fitting in line with the business that we run, we decided to turn our food parcels into skin parcels and deliver those to our patients who would be in need as a little cheer me up as well. We looked at our inventory and we found that we had some products and samples that we could package nicely and send to our local residents. We will not be defeated. We turned our little clinic into an outsourcing outside business where we had less than 24 hours to come up with a plan that consisted of turning an inside clinic that provided hands-on treatments to an outside click and collect service that would deliver products and advice to patients at home through several virtual streams. We created videos, online help guides, PDF documents, and we vowed to stay in touch with our patients throughout every step of this coronavirus situation. We wanted our clients to remember that we are still here. We wanted our clients to remember that we will still be here once this pandemic has passed. We did everything in our power to continue to arrive into work, continue to clean, continue to set up the rooms, continue to answer messages and respond to phone calls, and to reply to clients to let them know that there is hope at the end of the tunnel, that we will be back. It just was very bittersweet. After the first lockdown, we acquired a lot of new patients, a lot of new business. And whilst in most senses that would usually be something to celebrate, it was both heartbreaking at the same time because we knew that these new patients had come from other salons and clinics who had closed down in the local areas. So we've done a huge amount of networking. We took our business online, as I've mentioned. We have a skincare shop that patients can just browse for advice. We also created a new TV channel called MySkin Speaks, where we would host weekly events surrounding all sorts of skin topics that we would talk to patients about. It made the time being at home fun. It brought some cheer to people at home, and we believe they really enjoyed it and had asked us to present a little bit more in the future. We also went really virtual, so we used the time to continue to consult with our patients about certain skin conditions. From our treatment room or our living room, we spoke to clients virtually over technological devices to bring our faces and theirs together with ours so that we could talk about the needs of their emotional values, of how they may have found change in their skin by being at home. It was not limited to skin. We would talk about anything. I think it was just nice that they had that communication with us. It also gave us an opportunity to keep engaged, keep moving, keep our training and our skills up, as well as to build a platform so that when patients decided that they were ready to come in and see us once lockdown was lifted, they would be able to do so. And now that we had completed the consultation, we would be able to hit the ground running with some real treatment. It was also really difficult knowing that so many people in the similar industry to us had lost their job, particularly when the campaigns for feeding children and making sure that their well-being was still strong during the time when Marcus Radford was running his campaign to better the well-being of families locally. So that was really hard to know that there were other women, other men in the beauty business that had also lost their jobs, and now that was going to be affecting their children too. It wasn't all smooth sailing. We lost a therapist, one of our best, due to considerations that was happening in her home environment, in her personal life, which led to the fact that she had to leave us. And so that brought one of the team members down at a time when we were already struggling to meet the demand of new patients that were coming in through the door. We also found that we had to discontinue and remove a lot of stock. So a lot of stock that was going off on our shelves of product, our due diligence and care taken to checking the best before dates and ensuring that we were not selling old product or retaining old stock meant that we had to get rid of a lot of our equipment that was no good anymore, needles, things that had expiry dates on them. Of course, there was more cost to having to purchase more protective equipment, no more than we had to buy previously, as our PPE conditions were actually quite excellent, but we did have to make more investment in purchasing PPE equipment due to transport delays, timings, companies closing down, and of course the onset of Brexit. That was in some ways the nail in the coffin because some of our suppliers had closed down. Some of the biggest challenges for us, the first biggest challenge has got to be not seeing our patients. As a medical aesthetic clinic, we have patients with real skin need, real skin disorders, real skin diseases, and we were unable to service them throughout the pandemic. A virtual consultation was definitely not the same as providing an in-person, in-depth, hands-on treatment, and so we actually had to stop providing some of our more intricate injectable treatments from back in December. We had an inkling that we would be closed, and through our due diligence we decided that it was safer not to offer some of the more invasive treatments that we knew that patients would need, in light of the fact that we knew we wouldn't be able to check up on them should a lockdown arise. you know, trying to ensure that we are still paying the rents and rates required of our premise, ensuring that our staff are being taken care of and looked after, ensuring that we can still continue HR processes as need be, ensuring that all of our restored equipment for first aid processes and the replacement and pat testing of equipment was still ongoing. So coordinating that with our builders team, our electricians, our team, those were probably a lot of the challenges that we continue to face in trying to rebuild the practice back to what it needs to be. Yes, I did find positives. We found positives out of this experience because it taught us and showed us how resilient we actually were. It taught us never to give up. It taught us to keep going. It taught us that anything can be achieved. For me, it took me out of a comfort zone of doing more networking and more public speaking. I'm grateful for this experience of being closed in order to realize the strengths that we have as a team in order to keep going in South London, West Norwood. Oh, I am most definitely looking forward to coming back, for sure. We cannot wait. It's been so long. We've got a lot to do. I've been filming for days. We've been filming program after program. It's been a really enlightening experience, but we are definitely looking forward to communicating as a team and welcoming back all of our patients. We know that there will be new patients that we are looking forward to welcoming to the clinic as well. And what's exciting is that it's not just our patients who are coming back, but this is also inclusive of extended businesses. So some neighbours that I hadn't spoken to prior to the pandemic, we've got the opportunity to learn more about local businesses. We've managed to meet the business owners and the faces behind those businesses. We've vowed and pledged to work together on a few projects. I'm looking forward to the smell of lemons in my treatment room because I love a clean treatment room. I'm looking forward to a lot. I know it's going to be hard work, but I really am looking forward to stepping into a new time, a new space. It won't be the same as it was previously. We have had to make changes, and the organisation is probably bigger than it was previously prior to lockdown. And on that note, we're going to have to really live up to our expectations in what we intend to continue to follow, in what we vowed to do in order to change how people view skin, my skin, in this industry.